So I see we have quorum, but I don't see Antonia yet. Is that?
Yep, I don't see her on the meeting here yet. I'm going to send her a quick email to check. I believe she is attending.
Thanks, Perna. Let's give her a little bit longer, and if she doesn't join, we can certainly get started, and I can lead.
Send her the link again, so give me a minute here.
Hello, everyone. I was in the wrong meeting, so I apologize for being 2 minutes late, but I'm going to take a quick scan to see if we have quorum. Unless, Audrey, have you done that already?
Yep, we do have quorum.
Perfect. So since we're already 2 minutes behind, I will start by reading the special note. This meeting shall be conducted pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D-021, and members may appear electronically. Should any member appear electronically, all votes shall be taken by roll call, and each member of the board will be able to hear each other. Citizens can also view a live stream of the board meeting on the library's YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/roch, R-O-C-H, pub, P-U-B, library. A recording will be available after the meeting on the city's website, rochestermn.gov/agendas. With that said, we're now going to enter public comment period. We have 16 minutes total with 4 minutes max per person. If anyone wants to join the meeting and provide comments, they may do so via Teams, and the call-in number is 1-347-352-4853, and the conference ID is 713-638-039 pound. And I am going to give at least, a 45-second wait just in case we do have anyone who would like to provide public comment. All right. Hearing no comment, I will proceed to call this meeting to order. The meeting is officially called to order, and the first item is the approval of the agenda. Before we jump into approval of the agenda, are there any questions on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, seeking a motion.
This is Erin. I'll provide a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Erin, do we have a second?
So Adam, I'll second the motion.
Perfect. Thank you. So motion to approve the agenda. Quick note, we do have a lot of new board members. So if I miss anyone while going through, quick pause. I did not do roll call. Audrey, I'm going to back up, do a quick roll call, and that will probably help me with new member names. So I'm going to start with what's on my screen.
Actually, I do see that we have introduction of new teammates, but I don't think we actually do. Do I have the right? Yeah, I have the, so I should have caught that earlier. Is that right, Perna?
Yeah, we
Yep,
introduced last month, correct? But
Yeah, I think that's a
Yes.
holdover from last month. So
Yeah.
So we can strike that from the agenda.
Okay,
I
that's
apologize.
nope. And then I sailed right over the roll call. So I'm going to start with that. I'm gonna start with Steve.
Here.
Perfect. Holly.
Present.
Adam.
Here.
Dominic.
Present.
Erin.
Here.
Stephanie.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Kristen.
Here.
Rawi.
Here.
Chloe.
Here.
All right, we actually have everyone here, which is atypical, so that's amazing. So I'm going to go back to the approval of the agenda, and since we had a motion, it was seconded, we are now going to, I'm going to go through everyone one by one, so you can verbally say whether you're yay or nay for the approval of the agenda. So I will start with Steve.
Yes.
Perfect. Holly.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes. Sorry.
Dominic.
Yes.
Erin.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Aye.
Scott.
Yes.
Kristen.
Aye.
Rawi.
Yes.
Chloe.
Yes.
And then I myself, Antonia Oshone, a yes. So Audrey, as you said, we'll strike introduction of new teammates and we'll move straight to the consensus agenda, starting with the approval of the minutes.
I would move that we approve the minutes. Steve Ball.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Antonia, we usually approve all of the consensus agenda items together.
Oh yeah, Audrey, I missed one January meeting and all of a sudden it's new information. So yes, thank you for that.
I would amend my motion to approve the consent agenda then.
Thank you very much, Steve. Very much appreciated.
I can second that. Scott Redenbaugh.
Perfect. So we now have a motion to approve the consensus agenda. And I will go through everyone one by one. Please verbally affirm or oppose the motion. Starting with Steve.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
Dominic.
Yes.
Erin.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Kristen.
Yes.
Rawi.
Yes.
Chloe.
Yes.
And I myself also vote to approve the consensus agenda. So that is done. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have approval of contracts, with specifically the acceptance of contracts signed by the library director. I feel like I want to make sure we take some time if there are any questions. Do we have any questions from board members? Audrey, do we have any comments from you prior to moving into a motion?
Nope.
All right, then we are seeking a motion to approve the contracts signed by the library director.
This is Kristen. I motion.
Thank you, Kristen. Do we have a second?
This is Holly, second.
Thank you very much, Holly. So we're now going to do the same thing, go back through everyone, starting with Steve.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
Dominic.
Yes.
Erin.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Scott.
Yep.
Kristen.
Yes.
Rawi.
Yes.
Chloe.
Yes.
And then I, Antonia, am also a yes. So thank you very much. We have now approved those contracts. Next on our item is President's Business, and we're going to start with the foundation report. So.
Hi, just a little update on Wit Wisdom and Wine. No emergencies. Technically, it went wonderfully. Our attendance was down. Our revenue was about flat. our increased sponsors helped us get back to our flat revenue because the attendance was down so far because of the virtual nature, I'm guessing. And the last thing, I would love to invite you, if you are on Facebook, please, please, please go to the Rochester Public Library Foundation Facebook page and like, comment, or share sponsor photo or video posts. We started them back in February and they'll go through March. And that's just a thank you to the people businesses that sponsored and helped us raise the most meaningful funds at this year's event so that we can help support the library. So if you're on Facebook, really, really would appreciate you giving a like or a share or a comment to those. Thank you so much. And that's the end of the report.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And I think I speak for all of us on the board when we say we're really, really appreciative of all the efforts of the foundation. And I feel like you said revenue was flat, but attendance was down. So I see that as a win. So thank you for all the work that you and the team do. Next, we have the Friends report.
And Val is on. Val, do you want to make any comments?
Sure. We had our bookstore presented a check to the library for funds raised last year. Even though the bookstore was not open the whole year, it opened middle of October, I believe. So it was only open for a couple of months. We were still able to present a check to the library. The bookstore is really trying hard to work through their backlog of inventory. We have boxes and boxes of available inventory for the bookstore in our back storeroom. So they've been going through a variety of different sales, either pop-up sales. Right now they have a buy one, get one free sale going on in the bookstore. The auditorium sale was postponed from February, will take place in March, the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then the last item is we did vote in a new slate of officers that took effect at our February meeting. And does anybody have any other questions for Friends? I'm the new president, and this is my first meeting of the library board, so I'm not sure what all I'm supposed to say and do.
Well, Val, first of all, nice to meet you. Second of all, this was perfect. We essentially just want an update when you come to the meeting on Friends activity, especially anything notable like this. And I will say $25,000 is an incredible achievement given that the bookstore's been closed for so much time. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Val before we close up the Friends report?
No questions. I just want to emphasize your comments around support. So thank you for the Friends. Excellent.
Thank you, Erin. All right, then we will move on to the Selco report. Scott, I cede the floor to you.
Yeah, I'll go over some highlights there. The major points are in the written report there. I will say, I feel like I've been on Selco for a few months now, and I'm still really trying to learn all the acronyms and the different things that people say during the meetings. But I feel like I'll get there eventually. The strategic planning committee continued to meet with their consultant to go over feedback. They did a survey with stakeholders about the future of the strategic plan. They passed a motion to use the regional library basic system support money, which is RLBSS money, to offset basic tech fees to the member libraries. And the other thing that was of note was they tabled a motion to add Juneteenth as a new holiday for Selco. Some of the members seemed like they needed to think about it more. I'm planning on being very vocal in support of that being added as a holiday, but I also see myself as the representative from Rochester Public Library. So if anybody has input on that, please let me know. But my perspective is, one, we don't get enough holidays anyway, and two, if we have a holiday, we should definitely have it for the ending of slavery. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Scott. And I actually have a couple questions for you. I think a couple of us might. One that I have is at the bottom of the information, it notes that Selco has contracted to conduct that region-wide community needs assessment. Does our region fall within that assessment scope?
Yes, we will be taking advantage of that.
Okay. I think it'll be really, really interesting to kind of follow that and get the updates at the board meetings, Scott. I really would love to see what information and what insights come out of that community needs assessment.
Great. I'll make sure that I make note of that during the meetings.
Perfect. And then second, would it be of any use to you if the library board members, other board members weighed in on their thoughts around Juneteenth as a holiday? I'm not sure if that gives you additional, Sure, you can eat that on a tray. Sorry, guys. I have a 6-year-old fiending after seaweed snacks. And they're they like drop crumbs everywhere. Yeah, would that be of use to you if we discussed it quickly and just were able to, as a board, it's not like an official motion, but kind of just affirm or oppose that, or no?
I mean, it's up to you. I think if there's any opposition, I'd certainly like to know, but I'm kind of assuming support, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, let's just keep it at that. If there's anyone who feels strongly against Juneteenth being a holiday, please just either speak up in the meeting or send information to Scott. I think, however, within the context of our mission, that very much aligns with how we feel about equity in the community, allowing others in the community to feel represented. So I'll just give a 15-second pause in case anyone else wants to speak up. All right, that was also strategic crumb check. So the 6-year-old's doing just fine. All right, thank you very much, Scott. Next, we are going to move on to the youth representative report.
I guess the only
hi
thing.
everyone.
Oh, sorry, you can go.
Sorry, you can go, Diamond. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, we didn't, at our last meeting, we just met in committee groups, and then we were trying to decide like what each group was gonna do moving forward with the community.
Thank you, Chloe.
Just to quickly add on to that, we also kind of talked about many different activities that youth commissioners could participate in, despite their committee. So if the library has any kind of volunteer opportunities that the youth commissioner, any youth could participate in, that would be good to know.
That's also helpful for us to know. I feel like, Karen, if you're on, I'm looking at you. I feel like you always know of opportunities to help and support. Could you pass that information along to Dominic and Chloe if you have it?
Absolutely. Can you hear
Karen?
me? Whoops.
All right, we will follow up with Karen so she can contact you. I feel like she often knows of opportunities. So thank you. And then I have a quick question. Audrey, this is mostly for you. Are in-person events authorized yet?
So we are doing a few things, mostly very small gatherings, like a book group. And we're taking the cue from the city council and when they're meeting in person. So they're going to start meeting in person again in March. So we will get some clarification from the city, but we're still limited.
Okay.
I mean, Omicron hit us really hard. So so we just need to be really conscious of that as we plan for the future.
Of course. I was just wondering about the opportunities for the youth council and the youth members.
Yeah, we do have volunteers. We will not pull a big group together to volunteer, but Marilyn Campbell, who's our volunteer coordinator, will absolutely, we'll get them in touch so they can coordinate.
Perfect. That sounds good. Are there any questions before we move on to the next report? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to the Personnel Committee report. Adam, I will yield to you.
Yeah, thanks, Antonia. Well, obviously big news this evening with a recommendation on the next library director, but first I'd be terribly remiss if I didn't thank Audrey yet again for her service and commitment to the library. Audrey, too, we've been affected by COVID. I received a certificate of service from the city this week that I wish I could present to you in person, but hopefully sometime in the next few weeks before you officially retire, I can get that to you. But again, just thanking you for over 25 years with the city, and Audrey again will be retiring on March 4th. So yes, thank everybody. If you haven't thanked Audrey directly already, please do so.
Thank you.
The selection of Audrey's replacement has been interesting and tough and long road here. Obviously not tough with the person we've selected, but just been a lot of commitment from a lot of board members, city administration, and others. So I'd like to thank everybody that's been involved from the library board, city administration, and all. My counterpart in the recruitment process was Linda Hillenbrand, who's the director of Rochester City Human Resources, and Linda's on the call now as well. And I know Mayor Norton is on the call as well too, so welcome both of them. Is the goal for the meeting today will be to finalize the recommendation from the personnel committee for voting for approval. And if the board agrees with the recommendation, we then proceed with next steps, which I can outline. I'm very excited this evening to announce that the recommendation from the personnel committee would be to appoint Karen Lemke as the next director of the Rochester Public Library. Karen will bring a wealth of experience and dedication and commitment to the role as well, and be a great successor in the eyes of all that were involved in the interviews and feedback. So at this time, I think I'd open it up for questions and feedback from the board, particularly that since we have Linda here as well, and then I'd proceed with a few additional comments.
I think that since this is a public meeting, it's a really good opportunity, Linda, for you to just speak really quickly on the process for selection. I think you guys did an excellent job with that process, and I would love for you to share it if that's okay.
I would absolutely love to share information about the process, Antonia. So just to start off, though, I have to tip my hat to the board members, because I am not only a colleague of the library teammates, but I'm a happy citizen who loves our Rochester Public Library. So I know some of you are new, but for all of you, thank you for what you do in leading this organization, and to my teammates, because the library is something that contributes to the vibrancy of this community, and I love it. With that, I also need to add on to Adam's comments and just say we are so fortunate going through this process that we had 4 remarkable candidates. 3 were internal and 1 was external. And you know, it only takes 1 in the end, but anytime you go through an executive level recruitment process and you have 4 candidates that were of this quality, it does make our job a little bit easier. So I'm very proud of our internal and external candidates. It's a rigorous process to go through. So I'm just very proud and pleased of how we've gone through this journey. Starting off, to determine how we want to select our candidates, we did what we call a competency card sort. The purpose of that process is for a group of people to come together in the organization. So we had some board members and some team members and some people from HR come together and basically have conversation around what is required for this candidate to be most successful in their position. And so we looked at about 36 different competencies, and we whittled those down to the top 5 or 6 competencies. Those were, to be very brief, strategic mindset, the ability to look forward, really good networking skills. A lot of this job is about building relationships, driving a vision and purpose throughout the organization, making sure everybody in the library understands where we're heading. Having trust, building confidence with your colleagues and external parties, And having a good foundation of self-awareness, knowing what your own internal strengths and weaknesses might be and how you would leverage those with others on your team. And then, of course, organizational savviness, understanding how you balance the complexities of driving policies, processes, and people all in the same direction. So those were the competencies we looked at. We then take that information and we use that to come up with behavioral-based interview questions. So the first step in the process was for Lena Murphy, one of my HR colleagues, and I went through the applications. We confirmed that there were 9 candidates we should take a close look at. So we set them up for screens, phone screens. We do not do this with a face-to-face meeting at this point. Of those 9, 6 participated. 2 withdrew at the last minute and 1 did show up. So we had 6 candidates we looked at. And after going through those initial screens, Ms. Murphy and myself decided that there were 4 really strong candidates that should move forward in the process. From there, this group went on to an interview panel, to interview with a panel that consisted of 2 of your board members, Aaron Pagel and Adam Meyer, along with City Administrator Zelms, Parks and Recreation Director Paul Widman, and myself. And so we did, I would say, a fairly extensive interview with them using behavioral-based interview questions based on those competencies. And then following that, we also scheduled fireside chats where we recorded a few questions for each of the candidates to answer. They did not have this information ahead of the recording. The goal of that is for them to think on their feet, which they all did a great job. And then we send that information out to council members, to the city leadership team, to library teammates, friends of the foundation, or friends of the library and foundation members, along with the library board members that were not participating in the first round of interviews. Showed them this information, asked for feedback. Once we got all that feedback in, then the interview panel reconvened, went through the information, the feedback received in depth about each candidate, talked briefly about the strategic direction of the library, and again, those key competencies. And after analyzing all that information, then we're bringing forward the recommendation that Adam has just brought forward a moment ago. It was, I think, a fairly good process all in all. Again, I'm just so pleased with our candidates and how well that they fared through the process. So, and I'm extremely dedicated and I should say honored to have worked with Audrey. She certainly leaves a large footprint in the library. So we can celebrate all of her legacy, but it's also an exciting new time for Ms. Lemke should she be appointed tonight, and all that she will bring along with her teammates to the future of this great organization. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Adam, unless there's any questions about the process.
Thanks, Linda. I think I'd add one additional point on the process for the information tonight for the recommendation and approval from the board. We're just looking to approve and endorse the appointment of Karen to this position. Next steps in the process would be then to hand off the keys, so to speak, to Linda in more detail, to then work with city administration to finalize an official accepted offer, specific salary information, start date. All of those things would be outside the purview of the board.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Linda. And I also want to say just congratulations, Karen. I think you will be an excellent steward of the library moving forward. And I'm excited to welcome you in the role pending approval tonight. Any questions from anyone else on the board? All right, then we can move on to new business. I think there's no new business. Actually,
you need a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to vote on the recommendation, Antonia.
Oh, why not just make an executive decision that Karen's wonderful and I choose her? No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. Yes, we do need a motion. So I'm going to look for a motion.
This is Erin. I make a motion to approve.
Thank you very much, Erin. And a second?
This is Holly, I second.
Perfect. So I will start with Steve.
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Dominic?
Yes.
Erin?
Yes.
Stephanie?
I recused myself from this vote. Thanks.
Thank you. Scott,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Rawi,
Yes.
Chloe,
Yes.
and then I, Antonia, enthusiastic yes. So the motion thereby passes, and we approve the director and administrator negotiating a contract with Karen. Thank you. So now we can move on to new business. Apologies. And I know it does not look like there's new business, but I did want to quickly note that the committee preferences have been taken and gone through, and then we have identified representatives across the various committees, and that will be emailed out likely end of this week. So thank you everyone for taking the time to send your preferences in. Next, we have old business, and we have a review of the 2021 action plans. And Audrey, I'm assuming I'm looking at you for that.
Yes. So what you have before you is a document that shows what progress we've been making on the 2021, sorry, my lights keep going off, the 2021 action plans. And so at this point, I don't really want to spend time going through every single one, but I would absolutely entertain questions. You know, some of them you'll notice are some of them were currently in progress and we'll keep working on it in 2022. But you know, the fine forgiveness evaluation and the hours evaluation, all of that stuff, some the social worker getting hired, all of that, some has been accomplished, some's in progress.
All right, thank you very much, Audrey. I do want to make sure that we take an opportunity to, field any questions around this. Do we have any questions from the board? No? All right. I do want to say, Audrey, that when you see it in front of you, I was really happy to see just how much we have in progress and just what an impact that the library's been able to have, like just thinking about the Chromebooks and just all of the ways that we've been able to kind of drive equity across the community. So it was great to see.
Yeah, and it has been a team effort through every single one of those. And so kudos to the whole team for making that progress.
Perfect. So if there are no questions on old business, then we will move to the director's informational items. And Audrey, is this going to be your last time presenting the director's informational items?
It will be. It will be. So yeah, this is my last meeting. And I hope at the end, if you'll give me a minute or two, I'd like to make a couple comments. So yeah. So the first thing is the 2022-23 budget. I don't really have anything to add other than what's in front of you. Any questions?
Audrey, I didn't really feel like I had any concerns, but I just wanted to kind of do the shortcut version of this and say, are there any implications with these minor budget changes?
Yeah, I think most of it is, we're now in the midst of a 2-year budget cycle instead of a 1-year. So we're kind of working our way through the different changes. But no, I think we'll figure it out. And, anything that that comes through the process. So yeah, no, I just think it's just more of an FYI.
Okay, perfect. Are there any questions from other board members? All right.
Okay, and so the next one is, as of this moment, I would expect the March meeting to be in person. So we will confirm that. But just be aware that that the executive committee meeting in the first week in March will still be virtual, but the But I am anticipating that the March meeting will be in person. So we will be back in meeting room C or the auditorium. If we might be able to spread out a little more in the auditorium for safety purposes, but we'll be communicating with you about that.
Perfect. Thank you. And then Audrey, I think the last thing is the ECF grant update.
Yeah, so I did want to make sure you knew that where we were on the progress. So we're continuing to check out Chromebooks every single day. It has not been a super fast process. As you noticed in the contract signing, most of the contracts that I signed are all partnership agreements with Selco libraries, so that we're starting to send some of the Chromebooks out to some of our partner libraries to get into the hands of people that they know that have a need. So initially in the process, we had a lot of partners tell us they were going to need a lot of Chromebooks, and that just didn't pan out. So we had applied for the second round, but since we haven't given everything out the first round, we did decline that. We just wanted to, I mean, we wanted to make sure we could do it right, and we just didn't think we could get another 750 out into people's hands in a timely manner based on our experience. And part of it has really, I mean, what I will tell you, when the schools went virtual, we saw a big uptick that helped us get a lot more Chromebooks into people's hands. But you know, this is you know, it takes a lot of trusting relationship as we keep working on this. So, but that's where it is. And I'm really, really, really proud of the work that's happening around these grants, around these Chromebooks.
I am as well. And I'm excited to see future data on how the Chromebooks have been utilized and potential impact. So I'm hoping now we have a survey in the works to really assess. Yeah.
Yep. We absolutely do. Karen, do you want to give or Perna want to give an update on that?
I think Karen is challenged by the YouTube streaming management. So if someone, and then Karen could get that update. And if not, we can just talk about it at the next meeting.
But as part of the grant, we do need to go out and do surveys. So that is in the process right now. So we will have more data. And I guess that's probably good enough.
Okay. Are there any questions for Audrey? Audrey, we're letting you off easy on your last meeting.
Well, you know, I wanted to make sure there was plenty of time to talk about the important decision that was there tonight. What I would really like to say is how much it has been an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. I look at the board members over the past years who've really pushed us to be the best library we could be, and your input has been absolutely invaluable. I mean, I look at that 2012 process that where we really did that strategic planning, and it was the board that said it's time to do this again. And so I look at how impactful that was, and all the work that we did on the strategic plan that got approved in 2020. I mean, the board is so instrumental in really driving the vision for our library. And it has been just an absolute privilege to work for all of you. And I also appreciate the real care that the library board has done around the director's evaluation. Honestly, that the care that has gone into that has really helped me grow personally and be a better director. And I am so grateful for that, because I have absolutely, grown as a person and as a leader because of the care that you've taken in that annual process and the feedback I get on a regular basis from the board. So honestly, I can't believe it's my last board meeting, but I wanted to thank all of you and say what a joy this has been for me.
Thank you, Audrey. And again, speaking for all of us, assuming I can, it's been such a pleasure to work alongside you and have your support. And I think Karen knows that if she does get the position, she has very big shoes to fill. And I'm just, trying to keep it in the ifs rather than the thens. So.
Yes, thank you so much, Audrey. Again, I just agree with everything. So it's been great to work with you.
I'll echo Antonea's words, a true pleasure. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you,
Just a
guys.
third echo. Thank you, Audrey. You were my, oh, this is Kristen. You were my first contact when I first started on the board as a new board member. And I think that really set into place my confidence in being a good board member. I still have a lot to learn and a lot to improve on and a lot to give towards something that's always given something to me. But your appreciation and work and dedication is as someone as a board member and as a library person is greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Since, you know, it's remote and there's not much we can do, we can all just click the applause emoji. And I think that's the best we could do remotely. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, I think we have, I'm trying to remember what was on the agenda because I lost it. But I actually, oh, sorry, go ahead, Audrey.
Oh, I think we're just ready to adjourn.
Yep, because we have no sharing strengths and no question time. So we're at the end. Are there any questions before we break? All right, hearing none, I look forward to seeing everyone at the March meeting in person. The February board meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time.